Welcome to the Future Minds podcast, where we explore how today's working world is rapidly evolving. Brought to you by Solventa AI.
Access to Amazon's cloud when it did not have a web interface. Amazon has started offering services which are HIPAA compliant, and this is where we came in and helped them out, created their solutions while creating a proper what Amazon calls a landing zone. You can create a Bedrock agent, AI agent that, hey, this EC2 instance has not responded. It can go and start troubleshooting that. Back in the day, tried to maintain infrastructure, which is now just a click of a button, and not even that. It's just calling an API.
Hello, welcome to today's episode. Today I've got a really special guest on the show, someone with over a quarter of a century experience in cloud industry, and he is CEO and founder of Gonova Cloud. Introducing to yourselves, Sajjad.
Hi, Jay. Thank you for the opportunity.
Lovely to have you on here. It would be great if you could give just a bit of background knowledge on where you're based, what you kind of did to get into the position you currently are, and how you kind of built up your whole business from ground upwards.
Nice. All right. So basically, as you mentioned, that I've over 25 years of experience in IT, of which mostly like 15 years of experience in cloud, specifically AWS.
Massive.
By the way, ex-Amazonia. I relocated to this area because of them. Primarily, after leaving them, I've been working for other Fortune 500 companies, both in commercial and in public sector. I've done, U.S. government, different agencies over the years, cloud, and other relevant projects in that space. I joke a lot with some of people that I got access to Amazon's cloud when it did not have a web interface.
Oh,
You
wow.
had to.
How did you get onto it? Or how was it?
Massive tool in order to log in and look at the resources.
Wow.
So back at
That is some time back.
Yes. So anyway, how I started on Gonova Cloud. Basically, I've been consulting a lot in the space as an architect, cloud architect for over the years. What I noticed was that there was a lot of room for to assist in the cloud journey aspect for the startups and the small businesses. Their understanding and their approach to cloud was very, we might call it a very traditional sense that they were coming along. Especially in the early days, cloud was a replacement of this. Okay, I need compute, I need storage, I need, blah, blah, blah. It was a pretty, traditional lift and shift ideas. Most companies are not leveraging cloud, especially the cloud native services, which makes it much more powerful from cost aspect, from operational and performance perspective. And this is when we came in and we started helping out these small players instead of at a much higher cost, like some of the other companies were charging them. At a decent price points, offering them and educating them how to implement this.
So I'm guessing you'd say there was such a confusion at the start because people would kind of just say yes and agree to these services from everyone else without really knowing what was, I guess, going on behind the scenes and how they were probably being way overcharged for kind of the compute space or the instances that they actually needed inside of their businesses.
Exactly, not to oversell and overcomplicate any of these implementations. So we've been lucky. Most of our clients team were in the commercial sector, were in the healthcare industry.
Yeah.
These are the companies that they had an idea. They hired a few developers. They signed up on an AWS account, and created that solutions, the application. But obviously, as you know, and especially in the US, you have to have, you cannot host medical data, PII or PHI in any environment. It has to be HIPAA compliant. And luckily, over the years, Amazon has started offering services which are HIPAA compliant, and this is where we came in and helped them out. One creating their solutions while creating a proper what Amazon calls a landing zone, well architected framework, both from not just from the efficiency perspective, but from security, compliance, and even cost optimization perspective. It has helped a lot of these things. We've been getting a lot of repeat business from these as well.
And what would you say is been one of your biggest drivers as a company? What I guess makes you different from anyone else who kind of does some sort of solutions?
Number one, especially in this space, when we talking about the AWS, we are AWS partner. We are on the services tier,
nice.
services path. We are on the first tier, which is select. We are about to hit the advanced tier. We have pretty much meet all of the requirements, and I'm hopeful that by end of this month we will be the advanced partner. That's one aspect. So we can what this gives us, we can bring in talent directly from AWS to review the solutions that we provide, and then we implement an architect for our clients to have like second set of eyes and expert that any recommendation that they might give, we can modify and align that with that. Apart from that, we have a team of expert engineers in this space. Our lead engineer has over 12 AWS certs. We're in jacket, but Amazon thing. So we have so pretty trained staff and the aspect and the experience in problem solving, depending upon the use case, and then doing this at the right price cost where it's affordable for startups. They have limited budgets and stuff and all that. So in order to meet that.
No, that sounds really good. It's really interesting, really helpful as well that you guys are kind of there to kind of tailor all the experiences. It's not kind of just a one package fits everyone, essentially.
Yeah. So at this scale, at this stage, when you are in the startup and then small business, CI/CD pipelines and infrastructure as cloud is still relatively new for these kinds. So we also introduced them, and then in this case as well, in order to make their processes and our product delivery also, make it speedy, easier.
Yep.
And make sure that meet the timelines.
I guess because especially for those who may not be aware, CI/CD is continuous integration, continuous development. I guess from the start of the finish, end-to-end kind of service from development of an app locally all the way to the final stage of it. And I guess the importance of it, especially with AWS, is being able to deploy resources in there through pipelines, through IAC tools such as Terraform. And I guess the real massive importance that a lot of people will need in that space is being able to manage their costs. So ensuring things aren't still live, so especially in the decommissioning side of AWS.
Exactly, and that's a very interesting topic. And
yeah,
as another thing that I mentioned when we first were discussing, this.
yeah,
Even as you would think that over these years, some of these processes are very matured and all. But there's still challenges when you rely on partners like us. I recently had to deal with a project of decommissioning AWS accounts for a large client. I cannot name that for privacy reasons, but one of the things that this is so easy to decommission resources in cloud, already there are decommissioned accounts. Depending upon the industry and the organization's obligations, some of these processes can be pretty complicated. Obviously, if you are using pipelines, CloudFormation or Terraform or other, tech, obviously it makes your job easier, but it's because of all these security and uh, um, reliability controls that Amazon has implemented and other features, which should be related to your costs, your payments, your finances, and all that. It can complicate this process. So it was pretty intensive process when I had to go through a decommissioning these accounts. Um,
What would you say were some of the challenges that you faced? And then I guess how did you overcome them?
so basically, what it requires is that you, if you have certain subscriptions,
Mhm.
both related to this, you should actually manually cancel those. Although they are, when you close an account, they could go away, but that's not the case maybe in all kinds of subscriptions.
Okay, interesting.
In the subscription, not just third party, but within, let's say, within Amazon partner, or even with uh, like Amazon Shield subscription. If you're part of an AWS org, it is a bit complicated. That how, because it works for all the entire AWS org, it is a bit complicated that how that works. In this case, these few accounts, but that's a member of this organization, so you first have to terminate that subscription and then move on from there. The other part is like we are running Amazon backup for different services. You cannot delete a certain snapshot on an AMI unless you deal with the job configuration first. And which is Amazon has done this so that you don't inadvertently by mistake delete things without stopping or modifying that process that actually owns these snapshots and AMIs. It's like termination protection on EC2 instance. You have to disable that before you can terminate. So some of these things, which these controls. So if you don't use automation and you do this by hand, and you have like
Hundreds or
hundreds and thousands of resources, you'll be spending hours trying to do that.
yeah, yeah. I've seen some environments like that, and it can be very, very overwhelming.
All these challenges, yeah, I mean, you still have to have a plan in order to okay.
Mhm.
Although with AWS, if you shut down an account, you don't pay for the resources, but you do have 90 days, this grace period to re-enable those. But if you do that, then you'll be paying for this.
Yeah.
So depending on an organization, they can have different policies. So you'll have to kind of satisfy that environment. That's why you had to clean up this account.
Yeah, I could see that being quite challenging altogether, especially with so many resources behind the scenes. What do you think in particular was, I guess, not the hardest resource to remove, but I guess EC2 are quite not as straight. They're a little bit maybe more straightforward for some people. Or would you say it's like the RDSs, the S3 buckets, the VPNs? What part of the decommissioning and around would you say were the biggest challenges and hardest?
Good point. To mention S3, I almost forgot about that. So in S3, if you got the versioning enabled,
Mhm.
then deleting those buckets have their own challenges. You have to remove all the versions before you can remove that particular bucket. So yes. So if you don't have automation, if you don't have a pipeline or a CLI type of script or something that can do this, clearing out a large number of buckets could also be problematic.
Yeah.
But yes, I mean, I think that, and that's why, going back, this is why I think we should emphasize that using of pipelines, infrastructure as code is highly important.
Mhm.
It can help you a lot in situations like this.
Yeah.
You can reverse that. If if in this particular use case of organization has used mostly, the pipelines, we had these formation templates or stacks. We could have gone and just deleted that and saved a lot of time, but that wasn't the case.
I think with IAC as well, it's a sought after skill that I guess not many people know or have as of yet, because I guess it is one of the newer skills in the IT industry. So I guess within your organization, by the sounds of it, you guys have quite a proficient team who can work in and around that skill base and actually offer those solutions. Because I know, just for example, I know the UK is nowhere near as big as the US. But when I first joined one of my organizations, we were the biggest DevOps team in the country, and that was only maybe 100 engineers. So I guess what would be some of the challenges you face as kind of growing a team or making sure you've got enough people to be able to build and continue doing the amazing work you already have been doing?
Right. So yes. So finding the right talent is always, a challenge, um, and some, some of that, we still kind of encounter here and there, but, because in this space, even though we are claiming, or we're saying that we are doing AWS work, but AWS is huge. From the days I started, or days when I was there, now, the services and the features, I don't even know. I would say like 200 times more what it used to be. It was predominantly like traditional replacement, right? You had VMware virtual instances of physical servers set in on the on-premise. In cloud, you had EC2.
Yeah.
Similarly, you had a LAN, then you had a VPC. Here, for storage, you had S3, and but as the time has gone on, Amazon has gone into more full-fledged solutions. Even your database services, that container services, compute, and other storage services have a lot more features, a lot more built-in solutions, cloud-native solutions that are out there. Some of the things I had mentioned is like on security side, we've been actively using Amazon Security Hub and Guard Duty. Now, this is your introduction systems, and some sort of like, I would say like it's like state of the art CM, but Security Hub is still a pretty decent CM solution that's out there that can help any security team securing their footprint. So it's pretty common. So coming back to the point that yes, finding the skill set to address for every project, yes, it's been difficult, but we've been lucky, and in order to attract in the talent both in the US and outside, we have an offshore team as well, and some engineers within the US working on multiple projects in this space. And obviously, we highly encourage, we train, we provide, Gonova provides, covers any fees for the certifications.
Okay, nice. Yeah. To allow people
So,
to grow.
so we gradually train ours as well on helping new offerings. Amazon invites us through all kinds of. In DC, I've attended AWS partner event lately. Worked looked at heavily on the MSP side of things, managed services provided for the AWS part, where there's a lot of AI related stuff is involved. There's the workshops, but the bedrock AI agents. I guess we will touch base with the AI, which I haven't even AI ops. Have a lot to talk about as well.
Yeah, I mean, we're more than happy to go into that kind of topic because I mean, it is a massive talking point in the tech industry, even especially over the last year or so. I remember there was once a year they do this massive tech conference in central London in the XL. I went 2 years ago and everyone had their own kind of different technologies they were selling as an organization. When I went earlier this year, near enough every single company and organization was talking about AI. So it is definitely a talking
So
point.
like everything else, right? The cloud, obviously, is embracing AI or actually even offering AI upgraded product. But cloud management by itself by AI, yes, it's already there. Majority of these simple tasks, um, troubleshooting, and even architecting, it's already there are solutions are already out there. There are some challenges, and those may not be 100% reliable, but they're out there. You can create a bedrock agent, AI agent that, hey, this EC2 instance is not responded. It can go and start troubleshooting that. Now, to what extent it does that, that's a different story. Obviously, it's going to mature over time, just like anything else. But by itself, that's still a pretty impressive stuff that what it can do.
Considering this is just the start of it as well.
There are players out there like one of our partner company, Ops Canvas, another pretty mature company vendor. To some extent replacing what we have been doing in the past is architecting, creating a cloud architecture for relatively simpler or small scale products. Obviously, there are still challenges, but that's happening. It's happening.
I guess with the inception of all these things kind of coming out, because like you said, the agents that can just go into your EC2 instance and fix it, like that is something to be able to troubleshoot that. It can do it 24/7, right? It doesn't even have to sleep. It can do it overnight. It can work through with
Networking issues in complex AWS implementations. There are networking challenges, what's routing, whether it's latency or some other issues. AI can go solve that.
Yeah, I guess as well, if we're comparing it to when you kind of first started in AWS 10, 15 years ago, how much it's grown in that
Exactly.
space. Imagine what I guess AI will be like in 10, 15 years once it's actually grown in that kind of space as well.
I was surprised to learn at the time that there was no VPN and no native VPN option. VPC was fairly new, and in order to create a VPN, you had to launch an EC2 instance, and then an RTP instance you had to create a VPN. Between two VPCs, there was no VPC parent, there was no transit gateway, none of these services were out there.
Okay. Yeah, so it is insane how much it's come over such a small period of time when you think about it. Only 10 years. But I guess
So I remember that, around 2009, 2010, we ran an EC2 instance. This was my early days for a telephony solution. And we had a lot of bandwidth and quality of service issues, challenges with the routing RTP packets through this stuff. So there was jitter in the voice and stuff on calls, and we had to spend some time to solve that problems. But yes, it has come a long way.
it certainly has. Where I guess where would you say you could see your organization moving forward, going into this kind of future of technology with AI and different kind of tools that are growing in the space? Where do you see, or where could you envision, I guess, your company going towards? And
Yes. So we are gradually opening up as you already know that it's not just an AWS space now. There is a multi-cloud, uh, uh, partner, and it's a hybrid cloud environment where you might have um, on-prem and other cloud partners that solutions could be working together. That's to some extent we're seeing that as well. But I certainly see that we will be relying more on the AI side of things. We're already involved in a lot of projects related to contact centers, where speech recognition, transcribing speech, working with voicemail messages or taking a recorded message and, having AI analyze that and, take action. That so there is a lot of opportunities out there,
Yeah,
and
definitely.
in that space is where we are moving forward. So it's not just um, simply, relying on the traditional sense of cloud architecture solutions. Is trying to handle more complex problems in that space. Deep learning is where one of the AI has called that we launching some projects in GCP as well in that space.
Oh, nice.
Right.
Uh, I guess with the cloud industry, people are still out there and organizations are still out there that are on premise and still haven't actually even migrated to the cloud or still not going into the cloud. What, as a last thought, what would you say and why is it so important for them, I guess, to move to the cloud and why it would probably benefit them if they did sooner rather than later?
Yes. So I definitely find this pretty strange, and it's not that why you know some are there are clients that still haven't joined the cloud adoption. Now, based on the use case and industry, so I understand that there are even companies that I understand that have moved away from cloud. Um, Most of the times, cost is one um, main aspect that why they would do that. Although in a lot of cases, a proper architecture could help in that aspect as well. But even then, there can be situations where you it may not be feasible for you
Yeah.
to run workloads in cloud. So that's understandable. Um, the other part, if it's a security or certain compliance part, that's I think something also can be further investigated and looked into because, like I said, very sensitive. Uh, Department of Defense is using up to even IL6, impact level 6, which is a pretty high sensitivity workloads. And when the Amazon Cloud, on commercial side, you have HIPAA and many other regulated high industries can be used. I think at the end of the day, it depends. What's the culture?
Yeah.
Company's culture. What's is it a cost reason? Security compliance, like I said, could be looked at, but there might be situations where somebody might decide not to. The complexity that they might face, that may not be able to do this. But it's already pretty late for somebody to migrate to the cloud.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes. It's kind of if it's not already there, then
And I would say another aspect, and what in the early days we said, okay, lift and shift. I have 10 servers, 10 virtual servers, obviously EC2s or whatever in the cloud, right? If someone is going to migrate now, it has to be cloud native services. So you will have to refactor. So what is your cost? If you can justify that cost, you can afford that cost, should do that. Refactoring would be simpler, cheaper, better, and you will be fully taking advantage of the cloud, whether it's Azure or AWS.
okay. That's great. Thank you. Thank you so much for all of your insights. And I honestly think half an hour for me is not enough time. I think we're going to have to get on another one because I still have so many questions that I want to go through with you. Continue asking, but it's amazing to hear from you. And I guess, is there any last words you have that you want to give to the audience?
No, yes. So the I think the modernization of the tech world, it's a journey. It's moving on. We have come a long way. I have some funny stories of funny and um, and sorry, what where we put a lot of hard work back in the day, trying to maintain infrastructure, which is now just a click of a button, and not even that. It's just calling an API.
Yeah.
I want a server, just run this script, or this job, and CI/CD stands up. Back in the day, it's maintaining server hardware, dealing with the cooling and power issues. You're
Couldn't even
uninterrupted,
imagine.
traveling at nights and or weekend, spending hours and hours maintaining your either your on-prem data centers or working in the colo facilities. It has come a long way. And now we are with the arrival of AI. And we're getting into this another territory where it's really getting
Moving
it's
fast.
challenging. Some of us are scared, but I think we should embrace that, and we should plan for it and get trained ourselves
Yep.
how to best utilize it. I don't think it's here to put us out of work. It's here to help us, and we can focus more on the more complex challenges and problem solving.
Precisely. Well put. Very well put. Absolute pleasure having you on the show.
Thanks, Jack.
Sajjad. And
Bye.
see you soon. Thank you.